Hello guys, it's Magic here. Today I'm just gonna talk about trying to make everybody happy, basically being a people pleaser. I don't know if any of you know this about me, but I am a people pleaser. I do try to make everybody happy. I don't want to upset anybody, ever. Now, sometimes this can be beneficial, but other times it can be a problem. But you can't solve a problem unless you know it's a problem, right? So, for a long time, I didn't know that it could be a problem. I was just kind of like, I just want to make everyone happy. But it does take its toll, and it can cause further issues. It's important as people that we do have our own point of view and have relationships with others that are authentic. Because if we omit things or alter what we say, just even slightly to make sure someone else is happy, we're not being true to ourselves, and we're kind of sacrificing our own thoughts, beliefs, and morals, and that's not cool. Now, usually I won't tell you that I agree with you if I don't, but I will not always tell you what I think either, because I don't want to upset you. But you can't. One thing I realized is that I'm trying to make everyone else happy. The only person that I'm not making happy is myself. You can't reach your goals if you're trying to be everything for everyone, if you're trying to do everything that everyone else expects of you and everything that they want you to do, you will never reach your goals. You'll never reach your... I think a lot of my people-pleasing attitude comes from the fact that I do have some insecurities, and that, I tend to be very down on myself. I'm working on that. I'm trying to become more positive. I tell myself positive affirmations every day, and whenever I start to have negative thoughts, I try to do something to, get me out of that headspace. But a lot of reason why we want to make other people happy is because we feel bad about ourselves. Like, I know for me personally, the reason why I do it is because I want other people to feel better, because I feel like if I can make their day better, or I can make them happy today, then I will feel better about my life and I'll feel happier, because I suffer from depression, and I just feel like if I can make someone else feel better so they don't have to feel the way I do, then I'll feel better. And sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes no matter what you do, it's just not going to work. We all want people to accept us and like us, and I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what I've learned along my journey and what is helping me now and what I'm doing to try to improve. And I hope that, you take it as such and try to make improvements in your own life if you can. I mean, I know that everybody worries about whether people like them and whether or not they'll accept them, and I know I do. Like, I worry about it all the time. Making these videos kind of majorly creates an insecurity in me, but I do it because I find it therapeutic. I do it for me, and I do it because I do want to help other people, and if sharing something that's helping me or sharing my story will do that, then that's what I want to do. I mean, a lot of the time, like, see, I'm a little weird. I like to dress up. Like, I'll wear cat ears and a cat tail outside, or like devil horns and fairy ears, and things like that. And when I wear cloaks, and I'm usually pretty cool about it. But lately, I've noticed that you know, there's been a few people in my life who've like gone crazy over it. And now every time I want to do it, I find myself questioning if it's a good idea. I question it because they did go a little crazy on me, and I don't feel like I can be myself anymore because I'm afraid I'll be judged or rejected, that other people won't like it or that they'll be mad about it. And I shouldn't be, because honestly, if I want to do those things, that's my choice. And really, it's not really hurting them. I mean, it's not doing anything. It's just being authentic to what I feel like doing and how I like to dress. If they have a problem with it, that should be their problem. But, we do have an inherent need as humans to want to belong. But there's no point in pretending to be someone that you're not, or not being authentic or true to yourself, because even if they like you, they don't really like you. They like the person that you're pretending to be. They like the mask. They do not like the person that you are. Because if they like the person that you are, you would be the person that you want to be rather than the person that you feel like you have to be. That's all that there is to it. If they like the person that you feel like you have to be but are miserable being because you're too scared to be yourself, then they don't really like you. You can't truly know if somebody likes you until you show them your true, authentic being. So you need to be comfortable with who you are before you do anything. That needs to come first. Be comfortable with who you are. Be happy with where you are and what you're doing and with yourself. Love yourself and move forward. And don't care if it means that some people reject you, because the ones that truly matter and truly care about you will stick around. The ones that are meant to be in your life will stick around. Everyone else, just let them go. Now, as a people pleaser, a lot of the time I do like to try to avoid conflict. So I will try to de-escalate it as quickly as possible. So one of the things that I'm learning to do is to try not to deny my own truth. Like if there's something going on and I'm asked a question, sometimes I will kind of downplay my opinion, or I'll try to find a middle ground where I'm not taking either side, because I'm trying to de-escalate the conflict, and that's fine. But in the end, you need to make sure that you know what your own truth is and that you don't hide it, that you don't just make it not important, that you don't deny it. I know a lot of the time I feel responsible for the way other people feel, so I try to make them feel better when they're feeling bad. And I tend to apologize all the time. Like, if someone's upset about something, I always say I'm sorry, even if it's not my fault, it has nothing to do with me, because I feel like, if they're feeling bad, and I've been talking to them, and I haven't done something to make them feel better, that somehow that's my fault. But it's not my fault that they're feeling the way they are. Everyone is responsible for their own emotions. We can choose how we want to feel about things. Now, there are some things that are hurtful and that are going to hurt us, and we need to feel through that. But at the end of the day, you choose how you feel. You choose how you let it make you respond. Like, no one else has that kind of power over you. No one else can make you feel something. You have to choose how you want to respond to that situation. Sometimes it's hard, and emotions do sometimes override things, but at the end of the day, you still get a choice. At the end of the day, it's still your life. And it's not our job to make anyone else feel any other way. The only thing that we can do is be there for them and try to help them work through it. So, because they ultimately, they need to take control of themselves and their life, and so do you. I mean, and honestly, just don't apologize unless you've done something wrong. Try not to say sorry. That is something that I'm still learning, and it'll probably take a very long time, because sorry just seems to be such a default response for me. But it's a work in progress. Everything is baby steps. We just have to keep taking it one step at a time. I know that a lot of the time that I feel like I'm failing at my own list of goals and to-do lists, because I'm so busy trying to make everyone else happy. I'm trying to be there for everyone else. Everyone else wants my time. Everyone else wants my attention. And I love giving it to them. And there's some people in my life right now that I would actually rather to hang out with them than do the things that I need to do. But then at the end of the day, I feel bad because I didn't accomplish anything on my to-do list. I didn't accomplish anything on my goal list, because I was busy trying to be there for them, even if it's just hanging out with them. Now, I can still do my to-do list. I can still try to achieve my goals with them here, but then I feel like I'm being rude, because, yeah, we're still hanging out, we're still talking, but I'm doing other things, and that makes me feel bad, because I feel like if they're here, I should be giving them my undivided attention, which means nothing's ever going to get done. So it's just one of those things where I feel burdened all the time, because now all my time and energy is put into these other people, and I don't have time to do anything that I personally need to do. And so things that are important to me have kind of taken a back put on the back burner, and that's bothers me at the end of the day. That's why I stay up so late every night, is because I'm trying to achieve at least something on the to-do list that didn't get done, or one of the goals. And that's not right or fair really to me, but so one of the things that I'm learning to do is that I have to be able to tell them no. I have to be like, look, either A, you're gonna have to deal with me not being able to focus on you and being able to do these things and still hang out with you and talk to you and be there with you, but or you just you can't be here, you know? And that's hard for me because I have a hard time saying no. So whenever people ask me favors or want my help with something, I tend to want to help. And I will tend to go, if I care about you, especially, I'll go out of my way to try to help you. But one of the things I'm learning is that it is okay to say no. You have to have boundaries. I mean, you can't reach your goals if you don't have boundaries and if you are putting everyone else's needs above your own. So, no is hard, but it's something that I need to, and I know a lot of other people need to learn to say more. And no is okay. It is a full sentence. You don't need to give a reason. You just need to let them know, hey, I'm not going to do this today. I need to be whatever. Whatever you need to do, just tell them no. And no is hard because I know personally I get very uncomfortable if other people are angry at me. And when other people are angry at me, I tend to back down. I tend to get scared. I tend to try to make it right because I feel like I've done something wrong now because they're mad. It's like, you're upset at me for something that I said or did, or just because I refused to do something that I couldn't do. And now I feel like I've done something wrong by trying to protect what I need to protect and doing what I need to do. And one of the things that is hard for me to remember is that just because they're angry at me, just because they're mad, or just because they feel like I've let them down, doesn't mean that I've done something wrong. It just, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they are right in the situation either. And some people, once you start telling them no, once you start going, no, hey, I need to do this stuff for myself and stuff, they're going to get mad at you because they no longer have that control over you. They can no longer control you and keep you down. And other people are going to get mad because they're generally, genuinely worried about you. They're just don't want you to go too far out of the comfort zone and fail because then you'll get hurt and get angry at you for not listening. But if we don't fail, we can't succeed. I know that part of the reason why anger really affects me is because in order for me to feel like I'm succeeding or feel like I'm doing good, I need people to tell me so. Like at work, for a while there, all I ever heard is well, you're messing up here, here, and here, and if this doesn't get fixed, and this is what's going to happen, and it just kept coming at me, and I ended up having a breakdown because that's not how I function. Now, granted, I was pretty good at doing what I had done before, but this was like a new position and I had no idea what I was doing. And I was trying to learn. And being told what I was doing wrong wasn't going to do anything for me. All it was doing was stressing me out because I felt like I was completely failing at this new position. And I guess since, I'd been sufficient in the previous position, they thought that, if they just told me where I was messing up, that I would improve, that I would get better. But that's not the case, because with me personally, I need to be told, hey, this is where you're succeeding. This is where you're doing good. Because the more that I feel like I'm doing a good job, the better I'm going to do at it, because the harder I'm going to try. You tell me what I'm doing wrong, I'm just going to have a meltdown. So, when people are angry at me, there is no, hey, this is good. This is the good things that you did. It's just all the negative, and that's part of the problem that I have. And I mean, It's just not sustainable though, because obviously not every time something that happens that is upsetting or that makes somebody mad at you is going to have a good point. But it is something that can be worked on, and it is important to hear where you need to improve, but it's also important to know where you're succeeding. Because if you, like, on either end of the spectrum, if you only hear where you're doing good, then you don't really know where you're messing up. And if you only hear where you're messing up, then you just feel like you're failing. So you need to have an even balance. Like, I'm fine if you tell me, hey, these are the good points, but you do need to work on this, but because that's an even balance. And I think that's what we need in our lives, an even balance. And I know that I've noticed that I do it personally and that a lot of people do it, that whatever setting they're in, they tend to change just a little bit because we tend to act like the people that we surround ourselves with. So for different environments, we'll surround ourselves with different people. So, but we can't let them stop us from being our best versions. Can't let them stop us from being ourselves. Because if we are trying to grow and get better and these people are no longer serving us, then they'll try to pull you back down to their level. And honestly, if we're changing every time we go into a different environment, we're not really being authentic to ourselves anyway. We're just trying to fit in. So, and it's better to stand out. We're not meant to all be the same. We're all unique. We're all special. We all have our own purposes. And we need to acknowledge that and be proud of that. I know that part of my problem with it personally is I'm trying to avoid conflicts. Like I said earlier, that some people got really mad about the way that I like to dress and stuff. And to avoid the conflict, I just don't. Which is okay, I guess. But in the end of the day, we all need to learn to stand up for ourselves. And that's a really hard point for me, is learning to stand up for myself. Because I feel like if I stand up for myself, then I'm doing something wrong. Because a lot of the time I know in my depression and stuff like that, I don't always feel as important as other people do. Because I think other people are more important than me. So if I can avoid the conflict, I'm just going to avoid it. But I do need to learn to stand up for myself more and be like, look, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. This is what makes me feel good. And if you don't like it, tough. It's not your life. It's not affecting you in any way. If you don't like it, then don't be around me. You can, if you don't know me, then just leave. If we're friends, then you don't have to be my friend. If you have me on social media, just unfriend me. Quit following me. It doesn't matter to me because honestly, if you can't like me, for who I am, at my core, and the things that I like to do, or for my weirdness, or just for being myself, then you don't have a place in my life. I don't need that kind of negativity. I don't need you in my life if you cannot accept me for who I am. But one more problem that I tend to have is that I don't always admit when I'm feeling hurt. Like, I'll get hurt a lot and I'll just push it down. And so eventually it just erupts. Because that's what happens with hurt. If you just push it down, it just eventually the bottle can't hold no more and it erupts. But it's important that we share that. Because it's important that we are authentic not only to who we are as people, but to our emotions. Because if we're not being authentic to how we truly feel, then we're not going to succeed. We can't truly be authentic that way. We're not going to ever be able to process the things that we need to process properly. Sometimes it's important to tell the person that's made you feel that way, or that you feel has made you feel that way, because honestly, only you can make you feel that way. And connect with them and tell them why you feel that way and try to work it out. And other times we just need to vent to somebody else. We just need to be like, hey, look, this is what upset me today. Can you help me work through it? And then go and talk to the other person when we're in a calmer mindset. Because sometimes talking to people when we're upset just sparks a fight, and it's a lot easier to go get it out, have someone help you talk through it rationally so you can approach that person in a calm state of mind, and be able to deal with it in a calm manner. And if we keep our feelings in to make other people happy, we are compromising ourselves and our relationship, and that all of our relationships, and that is not okay. So, at the end of the day, you need to be true to yourself and make sure that you don't just do what other people want all the time. We need to learn to live our own lives. We all have a choice. We are responsible for those choices that we make. Whether it's good, bad, whether it's to help ourselves or to help other people. Every choice that we make, whether it's emotions, life, anything, it is our choice. We are responsible for those choices. No one else got us in the situations that we're in. No one else caused it. And a lot of people tend to blame everybody but themselves. Some people blame higher powers. But at the end of the day, you have to take responsibility for the choices that you made to get you where you're at. I've had a lot of shitty things happen to me, and yeah, whether or not I deserve them or not, at the end of the day, I made the choices that got me in those situations. Now, that doesn't mean it's my fault. It just means that I've taken ownership of the fact that I made that choice. And yeah, it sucked. And whether or not I deserved it, it doesn't matter. I can get through it. And one of the things that's helping me get through it is knowing that, hey, it's not really anybody's fault. And another thing that I found helpful is that I try to setting priorities now. Granted, like I said, I've been really struggling with that with other people lately, but if you can set priorities for what is important for your life and for your relationships and know what you will tolerate and what you will not in your life, then that will really help you in your life. Because, like, I know that I'm done. I don't want to tolerate any more crap. I don't want to tolerate any more people treating me badly or being hateful to me. And I don't want to tolerate having to feel guilty all the time because I shouldn't have to. And now, and the things that I want to do in my life, the things that I want to achieve, those things are important. And so I need to make sure that those are my priorities rather than what everybody else wants of me. And so do you. And whenever you're struggling with whether or not you should do something for yourself or do something for somebody else, think about it and ask yourself if you feel like you're being used by this other person. Because if you feel like you're being used by them, you probably are. And you shouldn't tolerate that. You shouldn't let anybody use you. You should just do what you need to do for yourself. Protect yourself. Love yourself. Don't let anyone else take advantage of you or your good nature. Set boundaries. And learn to say no. Say no and be adamant about it. Don't let them make you back down. That is something that I've recently learned to do, and that's something that I recently had to do because I was being hurt and I didn't know how to fix it because I just kept backing down. And then finally I was like, no, this cannot keep continuing. This cannot keep happening. Don't give them an invitation. Don't give them any leeway. Don't give them any idea that that can change. So they'll ask again. Remember, no means no. So, that's all it means. And it's a full sentence. Don't have to give any reasons. Just no is no. Alright guys, I think that's going to be it for this video. I do hope that you have a good rest of your day and go out and spread the love, okay?